Ultimate Team offers many different game modes, each being aimed at a different type of player, whether or not you want to play online competitively or whether or not you want to sit back and relax and just play against the AI. Each has their own separate reward system, and they all take various amounts of time in order for you to start from nothing and then build all the way up to eventually finish that game mode for that week until it resets again. And because of this, that's why in today's video, we're going to be going through the most efficient way in which you can go through each of these game modes for the time that you can put in and the reward you can get out at the end. But before we do get into the video, if you want to skip the grind of Ultimate Team, you can use the link in the description down below, which will take you over to SkyCoach. SkyCoach offers cheap, fast, and reliable FIFA 23 coins. If you want a head start within Ultimate Team, you can just head over to there and buy FIFA coins. Just select the quantity you want, the platform that you're on, and give it a few hours, and those coins are added to your account. From there, it's entirely up to you on what you do, the players that you want to buy, the packs you want to open. And the cool thing is, this is so much cheaper than buying FIFA points, and it still gets even cheaper because if you use the discount code Fanatic, you'll also get a 10% discount. Link to SkyCoach can be found in the description down below.
Nice.
The most efficient way to play each game mode. And to begin with, we're starting off with Division Rivals. And this one is a nice and simple one. You either need to get 4 wins or 8 wins, nothing more, nothing less. This is because if you get less than 4 wins, you won't get a reward, which means even if you won 3 games, it was a complete waste of time. It counted towards nothing. If you get 8 wins, you're able to get the highest possible reward within your current division. Now you can continue to play more games, but this won't give you a better reward unless you manage to promote to the higher division, the next division above the one that you're currently in. But at that point, you're seeing diminishing returns for every single game that you play because you are no longer rewarded the same as what you was able to be rewarded before. You may need to play several games in order for you to be promoted, and with every single one of those games, you don't get anything apart from the coins at the end of the match itself, and the real payoff is actually you being promoted. So to get the best possible reward within Division Rivals, stick to either 4 wins or 8 wins. Nothing more, nothing less. The only exception to this rule is if you do need qualification points to enter into our next game mode. This is the FUT Champions Playoffs. For this, you just need to be pushing for 20 points, whether that's you winning 5 games or you winning 4 games and then losing 4. Now there will be a few people who are able to go above and beyond and get as many wins as they really desire because they end up being a much better player than everyone else in the community. They probably could go away and see a much better reward for the time that they're dedicating to the game, but the fact that you've clicked on this video makes me believe that that's not the case, in which it makes more sense for you to get in, play the games so that you qualify to get even more rewards later, claim the rewards that you currently can get within the FUT Champions Playoffs, and then use the rest of your time elsewhere. With the FUT Champions Playoff, there is no efficient way of going about it in terms of actually playing games because it still becomes a bit of a sweat fest. Everyone is still wanting to go through the playoffs in order to get to the FUT Champions Finals, which means you're going to have some tough competition. But if you can get 20 points and just leave it at that, that will be the best thing to do for the time that you're putting in. And by doing that, that will give you access to the Weekend League. And from here, it doesn't really matter what you do. The reason that I say that is because this is the most rewarding game mode within FIFA 23. And the cool thing is that you get rewarded for losing. So whether or not you're going to spend the whole weekend from Friday all the way to Monday morning playing through all 20 games in order to get the best possible reward, or whether or not you're going to spend just 30 minutes forfeiting every single game because each game will still reward you with a single point, it doesn't really matter because you're still going to have a fairly decent reward at the end. Now, me personally, I like forfeiting the matches because even though you will get 1 point per loss, you're not actually going to end 0 and 20. You'll probably end anywhere between 30 to 40 points because you're likely to come up to a few opponents who will forfeit the game before you. Now, there are some very annoying games that you'll go into where you'll go into a game and they will forfeit without scoring an own goal, which means that game doesn't count for you. That was a complete waste of time, but you will still come to opponents who will score an own goal and then forfeit. Now, do this before you even have a chance of touching the ball. They don't know your intentions, all they know is their intentions. And you could actually walk away with a win without needing to do anything. Normally, for you to come up to opponents like this, you need to forfeit 5 to 8 games, and then EA will match you up to opponents based on a similar level, those which have a very similar record. There is a benefit of being able to play more games and being able to win, so you could even do a hybrid approach, where you would forfeit 5, maybe play 5, and then decide what the final 10 will be based on gameplay, the time that you actually have, or whether or not you do actually care about getting some of the higher rewards within the game. You must also remember that with the weekend league, part of the reward structure is also to give you qualification points. What gets gifted to you here will mean that you would have to play less games within division rivals in order for you to go back into the FUT Champions playoffs. And this is where it could get somewhat efficient. So you want to try to balance all of this. It doesn't matter what you do, but my recommendation is to forfeit a couple, play a couple, and then make a decision on how else you want to push forward. This will allow you to have that middle ground of putting in a bit more time, but getting a much better reward because of it, and could also lead to you having to play less games within division rivals to get those qualification points to re-enter the following week. Moving on, next up we have squad battles. Squad battles, there's no real way to be efficient with this. You're playing against the AI and it's going to take 15 to 20 minutes. It's incredibly slow and sluggish. In order for you to get into the top 100, you're going to have to play every single game on the highest possible difficulty. And you're gonna have to do this with a pretty decent team in order for you to be able to push forward if you're not that skillful within game, or you're gonna have to do it with a slightly worse team in order to put yourself at a disadvantage to get even more points. But we're not looking to get into the top 100, we're just looking at the most efficient way to play, in which there's only a few things that you need to look at. Whatever team that you use and whatever difficulty you go into, you really want to focus on trying to get 6 goals, no fouls, no yellow cards, no red cards, and no goals conceded. This will allow you to hit the maximum amount of points for you to actually play the game itself, whatever difficulty you go in at. This will give you the most points at the end, which will put you higher on the leaderboards to claim points, but also these are the attributes which count towards the most coins at the end of every single match. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to get anywhere between 500 to 900 coins. But how many you receive will depend on these factors. You'll get 50 coins for each goal, and then it'll cap out at that point. If you foul your opponent, get yellow cards, get red cards, or concede goals, it will actually deduct coins from the overall total. On a single game, this makes no difference because you're either just going to lose a coin or two, potentially going up to around about 25, maybe even 50. All depends on the seriousness of whatever you've been doing within game. But if you keep this up going through 10, 20, 30, 100, maybe even 1,000 games over the course of a year, this can lead to a lot of coins being lost overall. You end up leaving a lot of money on the table. Moving on from squad battles, we have FUT moments. This one's easy because FUT moments in itself doesn't require much time. My recommendation is to build the best possible team no matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether or not it's tradable, untradeable, or loan players, because FUT moments will not be taking any contracts. Likewise, they're not going to be adding yellow cards, red cards. It's not going to keep track of anything. Only matters if you complete the challenge or fail it. Most of these challenges are set up on the lowest possible difficulty, and EA doesn't really add much content to this game mode in order for you to select anything higher. There are some challenges which were added right at the beginning of FIFA 23 which may still be there, which do allow you to increase the difficulty, but those have been the only ones. With every single one that you go through, you must select the highest possible difficulty because this will give you the most FUT stars. The higher the difficulty, the more foot stars you'll be able to receive at the end. And there's no point you wasting your time to select the lowest difficulty, then increase it and then complete the same challenge again, and then increase it again and complete it again. Just go for the highest difficulty every single time. For a lot of these, the challenges are quite simple. It just requires you to pass, score goals, maybe get assists with a certain pass type. It really isn't too difficult. There are some, such as set pieces, which require you to score from a set piece, but it doesn't actually require you to score from said set piece, because you can just pass it out and walk it into the back of the net, especially when you're dealing with some of the difficulties where it's on that lower end. So whatever your skill level, just try and find the easiest way to complete every single one. It doesn't need to be exactly how EA say it has to be. You're given a timer, and however you complete that challenge, if you can do it in a time limit, you will pass. As for the rewards, there's not a set reward for completing activities in terms of coins or packs. You get foot stars, but you use those foot stars to claim rewards. The best thing for you to do is to build up as many foot stars as possible and go for all the best rewards at the end of the seasonal rewards. So you'll go into your seasonal rewards and go all the way to the end. Whatever requires the most, those will be the best packs to go for. And finally, we have friendlies. Now, friendlies itself isn't a game mode that's particularly rewarding. You only get the coins out of every single game at the end. But if you link this up with objectives, it could be the most rewarding game mode within the game. All depends on how efficient you can be. With friendlies, there are some game modes which will allow you to use lone players. And because you're going into a friendly game mode, it doesn't actually count down their contracts. So you should build a full lone team, 11 players, all of them being lone players, and just use it within friendlies time to time, because it's not going to count their contracts, which means that you technically own these players forever. You can keep on using them non-stop. For other friendlies, they will require you to have tradable players or players as first owners, and you're not allowed to have any lone players. But the point still remains. If you try to go through any of these games, you must link it up to objectives. Go through your objectives every now and then and see what's available. If it's asking you to complete something with a certain type of player, whether it be nationality, league, or team, you're going to include those players as part of your team. And the cool thing is, you probably can start to stack these. It's rare for it to require you to have 11 players within your starting 11 from a single team in order to complete an objective. Most of the time, it's score a goal with an English player, get an assist with a French player. Very basic stuff, so you can get one of each type of player that's needed to complete that objective, complete the objective, keep track of it, and then move players around within your starting 11 to complete even more. Depending on the content that EA have pushed in terms of challenges, and depending on your ability within game, will depend on how many coins as well as how many packs you're able to get in a very short amount of time. As said, this could, if done correctly, be the most rewarding game mode within Ultimate Team. But anyway guys, those are the most efficient ways to play each game mode within FIFA 23. If you do have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.